Hello students, you have studied in previous modules that millions of tons of solid waste are generated in India. Only a small fraction of that waste is recycled and a major fraction of that waste is either openly dumped or openly burnt or disposed in the landfills. Now, for the landfills, land is required, and you know that land is a limited resource and we cannot waste our land for the dumping of solid waste. So, what should be done in such a situation? In such a situation, we need a very good, very robust solid waste management plan. In any solid waste management, the very first step is waste minimization. Rather, whenever we talk about solid waste management, there are two approaches for the waste management. First approach is the waste minimization and second approach is the waste treatment and its disposal. So, in this module, we shall be studying about waste minimization, waste hierarchy and waste audit. This waste hierarchy and waste audit, these are related with the waste minimization. With this background, the learning objectives of this module are to understand the importance of waste minimization in waste management, to know about the hierarchy of waste management and to know about various steps involved in the waste audit. Let me come to the waste minimization. Waste minimization is an important step of any solid waste management system. Waste minimization or waste prevention is fundamental concept of waste management policy. Waste minimization includes all actions, processes and practices that reduce the amount of waste produced or quantity of waste disposed. According to United States Environment Protection Agency, waste minimization involves redesigning the products, changing societal pattern concerning consumption and production of waste generation, to prevent the creation of waste and to minimize the toxicity and health effects of waste that is produced. Now, the question arises, what is the need of waste minimization? Waste is not only an environmental problem, but also an economic loss, as these are resources and they are not being used. The amount of waste generated is steadily increasing across the world, and this can be attributed to a number of factors like change in consumptive pattern of people, economic growth and globalization. The increasing quantity of waste is putting high demand on land as landfill. This is one of the commonest technique, you know that landfill is called as ultimate disposal of solid waste. Globally, the available land is decreasing due to growing population and demand for land for other purposes. We know one thing very clear, that land cannot be stretched. Whatever land is there, that is the only land available to us. So, we have to put it to the best use instead of wasting the land for the dumping of solid waste. Therefore, the shrinking land resource is one of the major driver for waste minimization. Secondly, the dump sites or landfill sites have been identified as a major contributor of greenhouse gases, thus confirming their positive role in climate change. Thirdly, the cost of waste management is going high. In order to overcome this, it becomes essential to target the reduction in waste production, and that can be achieved by better production processes. There are a number of examples before us which prove that waste minimization can be done. Therefore, we can conclude that the increasing quantity of waste, decreasing availability of landfill sites or land, and the role of waste in climate change along with high cost of waste management are some of the important drivers for minimizing the quantity of solid waste. What are the advantages of waste minimization? There are several advantages of waste minimization. The first one is better atom economy. Better atom economy means better use of the resources, means whatever raw material you are adding in a process, maximum of that be converted into product. Suppose you are adding 100 atoms and let all the 100 atoms are converted into product, that time there will be zero waste. If we are adding 100 atoms and only 50 of them are converted into product, it means 50 remaining atoms will be going into waste. So, we should look for better atom economy. Here I will suggest the students, please have a look on the 12 principles of green chemistry. If you read those principles of green chemistry, you will find that by better atom economy, the waste production can be minimized to a large extent. The quantities of the waste that are to be disposed is reduced. The cost of waste collection, transportation, treatment and disposal is also reduced, and landfill sites, they exist for longer periods because lesser amount of the solid waste will be going to the landfill sites. In addition to that, overall environment is improved and the aesthetics of that particular area in which waste is disposed will also be better, and ill health impacts of solid waste will also be reduced. Let us have a look on different waste minimization techniques. There are several ways of waste minimization. The first way or technique of waste minimization is to avoid the waste production. Then another techniques include reduce waste production, reuse the waste, recycle the waste, recover the waste from the waste stream. If nothing can be done out of these, then we should treat the waste, and finally we should dispose only that waste that cannot be put to any use. So, these are some of the techniques that can be used in waste minimization. Let me have a look on different approaches that can be adopted or used for waste minimization. Basically, there are two approaches that can be used for waste minimization. One of them is at production site, where the materials are produced, over there also the waste will be generated, and second is at the consumption level, means at the consumer level when the particular product is used. Let me see these approaches one by one. Production side actions at industrial level for waste minimization. Several efforts can be done. There are several ways by which waste production can be minimized at industrial level at the production sites, and these different ways include effective processes for manufacturing products with enhanced material use. This is again nothing but better atom economy. Second is cleaner and safer production. Third is improved design of the machinery for reuse, recycle and durability. Fourth approach can be resource maximization. Fifth approach can be reducing the volume of toxic materials that are generated during the production. Sixth approach can be reduction of the production waste. You know that there are several processes in which more amount of wastewater is generated or more amount of solid waste is generated. And if some new technique is available now in the market, in that situation we should go for changes in the production method in our plant. Means we should adopt that method in our industrial plants by which lesser amount of the waste is produced. And seventh approach may be recycling of the waste. At consumption level, several actions can be taken by the individuals for waste minimization. These actions at individual level include increased awareness on the impacts of waste and role of individual to tackle the same. Second approach can be change in consumption behavior and lifestyle. Means we should move from a consumptive nature to sustainable nature. Third approach can be participation in waste management programs at the community level as well as at individual level. Let me have a look on some examples of waste minimization. Waste minimization measures taken at individual level, there may be several measures like home composting. For the home composting, you have to sort your domestic waste, and biodegradable waste can be composted at our homes, and that waste can be converted into manure, and that manure can be used in our kitchen gardens or in the lawns. Second approach or second example is buy durable things. So, they will last for longer periods, and when they will last for longer periods, lesser amount of waste will be generated. Avoid using disposable cutleries and dining wares. Use reusable water bottle so as to avoid buying disposable water bottles. Carry your own bags while shopping. Recycling of waste. For the recycling of waste, we can sort out the waste at our home. We can sort out them as newspapers, curtains, bottles, cans, etc. And then these can be recycled, and we can avoid them going into the landfill site. Let me have a look on the waste minimization at institutional level. Think green while procuring things for institutions like offices, business houses and schools, colleges or universities. Practice waste segregation and adopt recycling techniques. Manage cafeteria, mess or canteen waste by composting, thereby reducing the quantity of waste going to landfill or open dumps. Second step or second component of this module is hierarchy of waste management. The waste management hierarchy is an order of preference of actions to reduce and manage waste. The aim of waste hierarchy is to have maximum practical benefits from products and to generate the minimum amount of waste. Let me have a look on different benefits of waste hierarchy. These benefits include reduced pollutants like lesser production of greenhouse gases, saving energy. Again, when we save energy, the waste which are generated for the energy production will not be produced, then conserve resources, and this waste hierarchy create job also. Waste management hierarchy promote environment friendly techniques. Let me have a look on this figure. On the left hand side, a arrow is given, and if you look on this arrow, at the top of this arrow most preferred techniques are given, and at the bottom least preferred techniques are given. It means when we move from top to bottom, the techniques or the methods which are suggested at the top are the preferred methods, and which are given at the bottom are lesser preferred methods. The top of the pyramid is the flat base, and it emphasizes prevention of waste generation. Prevention is the foremost step. The next preferred action is the reduce waste. We have studied that a number of approaches at individual level, at institutional level, and at industrial level can be adopted to avoid the waste production or to reduce the waste production. The next step is recycling, means the items that can be reused are segregated from the waste and put to another possible use. The next step is recovery. Recovery may be of two types. One is the recovery of the saleable items that can be used as such, or recovery may be converting the waste into something that is value added product, means value addition to the waste. For example, organic fraction of the waste can be used for the biogas production, for this compost production or vermicompost production, and if biogas is produced, that time that biogas can be used as fuel at domestic level. If compost or vermicompost is produced, then these can be used in our agricultural fields, and these will certainly help in maintaining the soil health and soil productivity. And if anything cannot be done, only then we should think of the disposal. So, prevention is the topmost preferred approach in the waste hierarchy, and the disposal is the least preferred approach in the waste disposal or in the waste hierarchy. Let me take an example of waste hierarchy options for paper and board. There may be several options. The first option is prevention. For prevention, use less packaging material, reuse the packaging materials, minimize printing and print on both sides, reduce paper use by using emails, use one-sided printed paper as notepads. The environmental benefits of prevention will reduce greenhouse gases emission, energy consumption and resource reuse. Second option can be reuse. For reuse, we can segregate and shred paper and sell it. Use one-side printed paper as notepads. Reuse reduces the environmental impacts. Third approach can be recycling of the waste paper and board. Segregate paper from waste and then sort this paper by grade and recycle in the paper industry to produce the fresh paper. At certain times, energy is also recovered from paper. Recycling saves the energy and minimize the fossil fuel consumption. Typically, twice the amount of energy is saved if we adopt these approaches with respect to waste paper and board. Our final approach should be disposal. If any of the above option, as we have discussed, does not work, then the waste paper is compacted or baled to reduce its volume. By doing so, the space in the landfill is reduced and the frequency of the collection can be minimized. Although it is suggested that paper should be avoided in the landfill, because if paper is disposed in the landfill, then its anaerobic decomposition will take place and that may lead to the production of methane, and you know that methane is a global warming gas whose global warming potential is about 20 times than that of carbon dioxide. This figure shows waste management hierarchy along with outputs at each stage. If you look on this figure, on both sides there are two arrows. On the left hand side, the arrow shows value of resources decreases. It means as we move from top to the bottom, the disposal capacity needs increase, means the disposal capacity increases. Let me discuss different approaches one by one. The first one is the prevention. In prevention, we have waste reduction. By waste reduction, we can decrease the demand for raw materials as well as energy is saved if we go for waste reduction. The another approach may be diversion. There are several steps that can be taken in diversion of waste, and these steps include waste reuse, waste recycling, and source separated composting and anaerobic digestion. For this waste reuse and recycling, we can recover the materials, we can reuse them, or we can recycle them. Resource separated composting use may lead to a recovery of organic matter and in the form of compost and vermicompost, and the recovery of energy in the form of biogas or methane. Then there may be thermal treatment. If we go for thermal treatment of the waste, again there will be recovery of the energy, but whether we can go for thermal treatment of the waste or not, this will depend upon the calorific value of the waste. This calorific value of the waste you have studied in the previous module during the composition and characterization of solid waste. Then there may be another approach may be landfill with energy recovery, means dispose waste in such a way in the landfill that energy is recovered, and this energy will be recovered in the form of methane gas. Then there will be thermal treatment without energy recovery, and then landfilling of the waste without energy recovery. So, from this figure we have learned that there are several approaches by which something can be recovered from the waste, and finally when nothing can be recovered from the waste, only then the waste be disposed in the landfill site. Third component of this module is waste audit. For any waste management program to be effective, it is essential that accurate information on the quantity and composition of the waste stream is known. Waste audit is a systematic procedure to review operations and waste generation. Information about these audits can help both at household level as well as at industrial level or organization level to determine the methods of waste reduction. What are the objectives of waste audit at organizational level? The various objectives of waste audit at organizational level include to determine the types of waste and amounts that is being generated, to identify areas where reduction of waste can be improved, to determine the effectiveness of any current waste management strategies. Whenever you go for any waste audit, there are certain basic requirements. These basic requirements of waste audit include identification of waste stream to be audited, sorting of waste into separate piles based on waste stream, choose an adequate sample size for waste audit, because when you are doing waste audit, that may be a bigger size institute or organization or company, or that may be a medium size industry or company, or that may be a smaller size industry or company. So, certainly in the bigger size industry you have to select a bigger sample size, and a small size industry you can work out with a small size waste sample. Then locate a suitable facility for storing the waste and conducting the audit. Identify the participants to be helping in auditing of the waste. Obtain safety items which are required or that are to be used by the participants. Choose the audit procedure. There may be several procedures, so use that procedure that best suits to the need of that particular firm or institute whose audit is to be done. obtain the material or items that are required for that particular waste audit procedure. Before going for waste audit, we should conduct training session with the participants. This is very, very important. Whenever you go for a waste audit, several resources or several items are needed. These items include weighing scales, because we have to weigh different fractions of the waste as well as the total quantity of the waste. Then we need tarpaulins. Tarpaulins are required for the spreading of the waste, because for the sorting of the waste we have to spread the waste. Then protective gloves. These protective gloves may be reusable rubber gloves or disposable gloves. These should be used so that participants are not affected by any disease, etc. Then plastic boxes are required, because different type of sorted items from the waste are to be stored, and these plastic boxes should be properly labeled as organic waste box, as a recyclable items box, and reusable items box. Then you should have a proper checklist. Pen, pencil, clipboard, etc. means you should have the sufficient stationery. You should also have the plastic bags, because these plastic bags are required for the lining of the boxes to avoid any kind of leakage or leaching, as well as in that if we use proper lining, that time disposal of boxes will be easy. Then you should have a cleaning kit, and that kit should contain soap, soapy water, disinfectant, towels, tissue papers, etc. Now you know that what are the basic requirements of a waste audit. The first step of any waste audit is plan the audit and determine the area. Second step is collect the waste to be examined. Third step is sort the waste category wise, and fourth is the analysis of the data. Let me study these steps one by one. The first step is planning and determining the study area. This is the first step in any waste audit. For example, in case of institutional waste, a team with the knowledge of waste together with its source of generation within the organization should be put together. This team can include one or two motivated person and responsible people. Now, how many people will be involved in it? That will be depending on the size of the organization, and the people can be included from each of the business area like maintenance division, cleaning division, purchasing division, production line, etc. The objective of waste audit should be very clear to all the members of the team to have a very successful waste audit. The team should then walk through the facility to get to know about the types of waste generated and their location. This will then enable the team members to identify the study area. The second step should be to collect the waste from designated study area. There should be clear instructions regarding the type of waste to be collected for that particular audit, because if that kind of waste is collected that is not required in that particular audit, that will be wastage of time and will increase the volume of the waste, and this may also provide some misleading information. Third step is sorting. Sorting will enable in analyzing the types and quantity of waste generated by that organization. The quantification of different components in the waste stream can either be done indirectly based on purchase records, that is material wasted is equal to material purchased minus material used in product and material unused, or directly by weighing the waste sorted and collected. So, there may be two approaches. First one is indirect, just by paper and pencil work, by knowing from the records regarding the material purchased, material consumed and material yet not used. And second way may be the direct approach, that is collecting the waste and weighing it. The last step is data analysis. To analyze the data so collected so as to identify the waste trends and habits of the organization. This can be done using an Excel spread analysis, or this can be done by developing a particular program on the computer. This step is very crucial because this step will help us to draw, to devise or to make a waste management plan for that particular industry or that particular organization for implementation. Therefore, waste audit is a crucial procedure for any waste management. So, dear students, to summarize this module, in this module we have mainly concentrated on 3 components. One of them was waste minimization, second was waste hierarchy, and third was waste audit. In waste minimization, we have learnt that what is the need of waste minimization, what techniques can be used for waste minimization, how waste minimization can be achieved at individual level, at community level, or at organization or industry level. In the waste hierarchy, we have studied about the pyramid of waste hierarchy, that is a inverted triangle. We have learnt that we should, first of all, we should prevent waste generation, then we should go for 3R approach, that is reduce, reuse, recycle, recover, and finally only that material should be disposed that cannot be put to any use. In third section, we have learnt that what is a waste audit, and in the waste audit we have also learned that what are the basic requirements of a waste audit and what are the different steps of a waste audit. I hope you have enjoyed this module. Thank you.